power vested in me by the state of Maine, I hereby order you to serve 2 life sentences back to back. 1 for each of your victims. So be it.
Imagine being locked in a cage for something you didn't do. No one believes you. No one is coming to save you. And the one man who could set you free just had the only witness killed. Most men in that situation give up. Andy Dufresne didn't give up. He spent 20 years quietly planning the greatest prison escape in history. And on the night he walked out, he didn't just escape, he destroyed the man who put him there. 1947. Andy Dufresne is a successful banker, smart, educated, the kind of man who has built a good life for himself. But one night, his world collapses. His wife is found dead, along with her lover, and the evidence, thin as it is, all points to Andy. He swears he's innocent. He had the gun that night. He went to confront them, but he threw the gun away and drove home. The problem, no one can prove that. The jury doesn't believe him. The judge doesn't believe him. And just like that, a man who never committed a crime is sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms at Shawshank State Penitentiary, the most secure prison in the state. He's 30 years old, and as far as the system is concerned, his life is over. The next morning, Andy approaches Red with a request. Not food, not protection, a rock hammer. Red almost laughs. A rock hammer in prison? He asks if Andy plans to hurt someone. Andy shakes his head calmly. I'm a rock enthusiast, he says. I collect and carve stones. It passes the time. Red looks at the tiny tool and thinks, yeah, sure, this thing couldn't cut through butter. So he gets it for him. But Andy's early days in Shawshank are not peaceful. There's a group, 3 men, led by a vicious inmate called Boggs Diamond. They prey on the weak, and they've decided Andy is their next target. Andy fights back every single time, but 3 against 1, there's only so much a man can do. They beat him, they humiliate him, they leave him on the ground. This goes on for 2 years, 2 full years. Most men would break, most men would make a deal, give something up just to make it stop. Andy never breaks. And then one day, Hadley, the most brutal bard in Shawshank, finds out what Boggs did. He doesn't report it, he doesn't file a complaint. He walks up to Boggs and beats him so severely, Boggs never uses his hands again. He spends the rest of his life in a wheelchair. The attacks stopped forever. Now let me tell you about the moment the other inmates truly saw who Andy was. A group of prisoners are chosen to repair the prison roof, Andy and Red among them. The guard in charge is Captain Hadley, a man with a reputation for cruelty. As the inmates work in the sun, Hadley is ranting about his dead brother's inheritance. Apparently, the government is about to take a massive cut of the money in taxes. Hadley is furious. It's his money, and he feels helpless. Andy overhears this, and instead of keeping his head down, he walks straight toward Hadley. Now remember, this is a guard who has thrown men off rooftops for looking at him wrong, and Andy, a prisoner, is walking toward him to give him financial advice. The other inmates can't believe what they're seeing. Red watches in horror, thinking this man is about to die. But Andy calmly explains the law allows a man to gift a sum of money to his wife, tax-free. Hadley's brother left him the money. He can gift it to his wife, and the government can't touch it. Andy can file all the paperwork himself, for free. All he asks in return, cold beers for every man on this roof. Hadley stares at him for a long moment, then agrees. That afternoon, the prisoners of Shawshank sit on a rooftop in the sun, drinking cold beer. Andy doesn't drink. He just leans against the wall, squinting in the light, watching his friends laugh, and for a brief moment, it almost doesn't feel like prison. Word spread fast. The banker who could make money disappear. Before long, the warden himself came knocking. The warden is the most dangerous man in Shawshank, not because of his fists, but because of his smile. He quotes the Bible, he shakes hands with politicians, and behind closed doors, he runs the prison like a criminal empire. He had discovered something valuable. Prison labor is almost free. He was winning construction contracts by using inmates and pocketing the difference. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, all of it illegal, all of it needing to disappear. He needed a banker, a smart one who couldn't say no. Andy became his money launderer. He created a ghost, a fake identity named Randall Steffens. Every dollar the warden stole was funneled through this man who didn't exist. If the police ever investigated, they'd be chasing a ghost. In exchange, Andy got better conditions, access to the library. He spent years writing letters to the state government, begging for funds to expand the prison library. They eventually gave in just to make him stop. He turned a single shelf of dusty books into a full library, the best in the state prison system. On the surface, Andy was a model prisoner, helping the system. Underneath, he was building something no one could see yet. Then came Tommy Williams, young, restless, already in 3 prisons, but friendly, genuinely friendly. He quickly became part of Andy and Red's circle. One evening, Red told Tommy about Andy's case and about how a banker was convicted of killing his wife and her lover, about how Andy had always insisted he was innocent. Tommy went quiet. "I think I know who actually did it," he said. Tommy explained, in a previous prison, he'd been cellmates with a man named Elmo Bloch, a career criminal, a violent man who bragged about breaking into a house and killing 2 people, a golfer and his married mistress. The woman's husband, a banker, took the blame. Andy's hands were shaking. For the first time in years, there was proof, real proof. He was innocent. He had always been innocent, and now someone could testify to it. He ran straight to the warden. But the warden's face didn't show relief, or surprise, or sympathy. It showed calculation. If Andy walked free, the fake accounts, the ghost identity, the millions in laundered money, all of it would unravel. Andy was not just a prisoner to Norton. Andy was a liability. The warden had Tommy transferred to a different block. Then, in the middle of the night, under the pretense that Tommy was trying to escape, a guard shot him dead. Stone cold, in the courtyard, gone. When the warden told Andy that Tommy had been shot while attempting to escape, Andy looked at him with something new in his eyes. Not fear, not grief, understanding. He finally understood what kind of man he was dealing with, and he made a decision. Andy returned to his cell that night, and Red would say something had changed in him after that. He was calmer, more deliberate, like a man who had made peace with his plan. The next morning, Andy sat with Red and asked him a question. "You think a man can escape from Shawshank?" Red laughed. "Nobody has ever escaped from Shawshank, Andy." Andy smiled. "I know." He then told Red about a place in Mexico, a town by the Pacific Ocean, a place where the sky meets the sea, and a man can forget every bad thing that ever happened to him. He said he was going to open a small hotel there, fix up a boat, live slowly. He said he'd need someone who knew how to get things done. He looked at Red when he said it. Red told him to stop. "Hope is dangerous in here, Andy. It can drive a man insane." Andy looked at him for a long moment. Then he said, "Remember that, Red. Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things." He gave Red an address, a field, a tree, a black stone on a stone wall. "If I ever get out before you, I'll leave something there for you," he said. "Open it when you're free." Red didn't understand, but he memorized the address. That night, Andy did not sleep. He had finished the warden's financial reports. He had also done something else. For weeks, he had been carefully replacing the warden's real financial documents with blank papers, one by one, without anyone noticing. He had compiled every single record of the warden's corruption, every illegal contract, every laundered dollar, every criminal transaction, and hidden it on his person. He put on the pressed clothes the warden had given him. Over them, he put on his old prison clothes. He wore the polished shoes. He walked back to his cell. He moved the Rita Hayworth poster on his wall, and behind it was a tunnel. A tunnel he had spent 19 years digging with a rock hammer the size of your hand, every night, every inch, quietly and patiently, while every man in Shawshank slept. The dirt? He carried it out in his pockets every morning and scattered it in the yard. For 19 years, he crawled through the tunnel. He broke through a sewage pipe. He crawled through nearly 500 yards of raw sewage in the dark. He came out the other side. He stood up in a storm, arms out, rain pouring down. Free. The next morning, Andy walked into a bank. He showed the identification of Randall Stevens, the man who didn't exist, the man Andy had created, the man who had been signing for the warden's accounts for years. He withdrew everything, $370,000, every dollar the warden had stolen. Then he mailed every document, every proof of the warden's crimes to the local newspaper. By the time Shawshank woke up to an empty cell and a missing prisoner, Andy was already gone. By the time the warden opened his safe looking for his documents, he found Andy's Bible. He flipped it open. Written inside, "Dear Warden, you were right. Salvation lies within." And carved into the pages, in the exact shape of a rock hammer, was a hollow space. That's where Andy had hidden the tool, right in front of the warden, for years. The police arrived at the prison that morning, not to look for Andy, to arrest the warden. Samuel Norton, the Bible-quoting, God-fearing warden of Shawshank, locked his office door and shot himself. Years later, Red was finally paroled. 40 years inside, he barely recognized the outside world. He was placed in a small room, given a job, given rules, the same room where his old friend Brooks had once lived and eventually couldn't take it anymore. Red understood why Brooks had given up. He felt it himself, the crushing weight of freedom after a lifetime of walls. But then he remembered the promise. He took a bus, found the field, found the tree, found the black stone on the wall. Under it, a box. Inside, money and a letter from Andy. The letter said, "If you're reading this, you made it. I always knew you would. Remember what I told you, Red. Hope is a good thing. Come find me." Red stood in that field, holding that letter, and for the first time in decades, he smiled. He got on a bus heading south. No permission, no parole officer's approval. Just a man moving toward the life he should have always had. He found the town, found the beach, found the boat, and there, in the sun, with the Pacific behind him, was Andy. 2 men, 2 lifetimes wasted behind someone else's walls, and finally, free. This movie came out in 1994 and failed at the box office. Nobody watched it. But something happened. People started sharing it, quietly, personally, like it meant something to them that they couldn't put into words. Today, it's rated the #1 film of all time on IMDb. Because some stories don't just entertain you, they remind you that no wall, no matter how thick, can hold a man who refuses to stop hoping. If Andy's story hit different for you, drop a comment. Tell me what part stayed with you. And if you want to see more stories like this, I've got something even more intense lined up next. You don't want to miss it.